You're watching News Channel 2's coverage of the 2019 Boilermaker Road Race. Brought to you by R.A. Dutrack, the Window King, and Seneca Wine and Liquor.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Boilermaker 2019 here on News Channel 2. You are looking at a shot of the Boilermaker finish line right down here at the Saranac Brewery, the FX Matt Brewery. Steve McMurray along with Kristen Copeland, and we're going to hear from our entire News Channel 2 team coming out in just a couple minutes. But another year, and here we are.
As always, we are your eyes, your ears. We are bringing you the sights and the sounds from the start line to the finish line, and the entire team is here making that happen for you. We have Gary Liberatore and Katrina Smith at the start line for us this year. We have Alicia D'Addario. She's manning Culver Avenue at this point. Caitlin Erla and Jolene Ferris at the 5K start, getting us ready for that event. And again, we are down here at the finish line. We also have Callahan Marshall. She's joining us. She's up in the golf course right now. We'll check in with her later in this broadcast as the racers, the racers come through, because my favorite event for Boilermaker Sunday is the wheelchair event. It always is. But we're going to see a new winner this year in the female division.
That's right. Amanda McGrory, after winning 7 times, is actually going to be, she actually is sitting this one out. So we're going to have a new champ. So that's exciting. And we're going to have a new women's champ, the women's open division. So it's going to be a big day from a race standpoint. But from the community standpoint, it's funny because it's already starting to fill up here down at the brewery. I've had folks, it's funny too. This is Boilermaker number 42, and I had a few folks call me last night, hey, so-and-so is running this for the first time. Where do I park? Where should I watch? Et cetera, et cetera. So even 42 years in, folks are trying this for the first time and getting Boilermaker fever.
I have 10 first-time runners in our Go the Distance group ready to make this year their year to go the distance.
Nice segue. I like that.
When you talk about the people coming to the course now, they're answering the call because brand new this year, there are going to be 2 people on Segways coming through ahead of the runners at 7 o'clock very shortly, and they are going to record the race or record the course from a runner's perspective. So as these Segways come through, spectators have been tasked with handing them water, cheering them on. They're trying to make this video as realistic as possible so that for the next year, runners can train for the Boilermaker virtually on their treadmills or on their bikes and get ready for next year's event. So that's going to be something exciting to see. I do want to run through the race times that you need to know and that we will be covering here in your 2019 coverage. At 7:15, the 5K kicks off from Burstone Road. That's also mile 6 of the 15K event. The 7:45 start is the wheelchair event, and the 8 a.m. top of the hour is the 15K runners taking off from East Utica. Earl C. Reed Way.
That's right, and we've talked to Earl Reed many times in the past, and I just saw him earlier this morning over by the media area, and he said it's another great day in Utica. It's Boilermaker Day, and it's amazing. Like we said, 42 years in. It just keeps getting bigger and better. And now Mark Donovan at the helm of the Boilermaker, and we talked to him at the Expo on Friday. And this is his first full year of being the exec director. He sort of came in about a week out last year, so just was sort of observing everything from a distance. But now it's his show to run, and he said he's in awe of how everything just comes together.
We do want to go to the 5K start and get a lay of the land. Jolene Ferris standing by. Good morning, Jolene.
Good morning, guys. Both disappointed and relieved not to be running today. You could probably see hundreds of people making that pilgrimage to the 5K starting line here on Burstone Road. Special guest with me right now, one of those runners, Jill Reel. Jill, it feels good. It's cool. There's a breeze, but don't let it fool you. There's a little humidity, right?
Yeah, I woke up this morning. The first thing I did was text Bill Cardis, and I was like, a little more humid than we thought, but there is a nice breeze. There's a cloud cover still, which is nice. The humidity will be dropping throughout the day. Right now we're at 64 degrees, which isn't too bad, but once the cloud cover begins to decrease, we're going to warm up pretty quickly. But we're going to have a bit of a west wind today. Right now between 4 or 5 miles per hour, probably halfway through the 15K, it's going to pick up a bit, so you may have a bit of a headwind when you are running. But for the 5K, the weather is turning out to be great. I'm kind of glad there's cloud cover, so it's not as hot.
I mean, It's not hot, which is a huge plus, but I don't want people to let the low temperatures or the breeze fool them because, humidity, it's like trying to breathe underwater, and they should probably pace themselves early on.
Exactly. Make sure you hit the water stations. And also, I brought my fanny pack. Sunscreen. Don't forget the sunscreen. Even though it's cloudy right now, the sun is going to come out, and it's very strong this time of year, so make sure you apply the sunscreen this morning.
The sun is going to come out, but the humidity is going to.
Yeah, the humidity throughout the morning is going to drop. By 10 a.m., you'll notice a big difference. Jolene's hair is going to be better, so we'll be good to go by then.
Which is why you're in braids. So how are you feeling at the start?
I got to sleep in today. Today's like, sleeping in compared to the weekdays. I feel great. I didn't train as much due to my arm surgery, but I'm going to run with my 12-year-old niece. She'll probably beat me, but we're just going to have a good time.
I know, the truth, this is like noon for you.
Yeah, it's almost lunchtime for me. But yeah, the best thing about the 5K is just have fun. That's the best part about it.
Have fun, that's the most important. All right, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
We have her to thank for these cool temperatures and breeze. And once again, really exciting time here at the 5K start on Burstone Road. You can see behind me all those people making their way to the starting line. 7:15 start, and like Jill said, it's cool, but don't let the cool temperatures fool you. It is humid, and that's like trying to breathe and run underwater, so everybody wants to make sure they pace themselves. Another special runner waiting for us at the 5K, my daughter Brooke, looking forward to talking to her later. 4,000 to 5,000 people at the starting line. Are we able to pan a little to the left, Mark, and see all of the people lining up? It's such an exciting time. You could see the local fire departments with the American flags hanging, music playing, everyone making their way to the start line. It's a bit of a family affair. A lot of family members, relatives running together. A lot of people come back to Utica from out of town to run the Boilermaker. It serves as sort of a family reunion for a lot of people. And just take a look. Everybody is pretty much getting into those corrals. They are packed. You could see they have everybody in there according to their times. And right now we're going to check in, I think, with one of our colleagues, Gary Libertor, I'm told. Where are you, Gary? What's going on where you are?
Well, good morning, Jolene. We are here at the Good morning, Jolene. We are here at the start line. It's a little loud. You can hear the start line director talking to folks out here. And people behind us, if you can see, are getting ready to line up down there, the runners. And we had a runner of our own come through, didn't we?
We did. We had a couple of runners of our own come through. We had a former worker come through, but Bill Cardis, we talked to him. But who else did we talk to this morning? The really cool part of the Boilermaker this year, I think one of the cooler parts, is these people that are coming through and they're riding on, what do you call those things?
Let's swing around there.
And take a
They're
look.
on segways right there.
They're on segways. That's the word I was looking for.
It's called Outside Interactive, and they're actually creating an interactive video. We've done the story earlier this week, but they are getting ready to head off. They're going to head off in about 15 minutes, and basically they're going to pretend like they're actually running.
Yeah, they'll be in the middle of the race, and what they want you to do is they want you to help them recreate what the Boilermaker experience is, and then they'll make a virtual video. So what you want to do, and we want to remind you this morning about, is just act like you would if any runner was going by. Cheer, maybe cheer a little bit louder for them. Hand out water, whatever you would do, just act naturally. And then it becomes an interactive video so that you could, while you're training for the Boilermaker, run it on a treadmill and have this virtual video going along with you.
And in just 2 months, you can actually download that video as part of an app. And of course, we'll have all that information when it does come out. But you're just 2 months away from actually running the Boilermaker all over again on your treadmill. So that's
so
kind of
cool.
neat.
Yeah, you can temperature control on the treadmill too. Also over here, I don't know if we want to look at these people because we've been watching them stretch, and Gary and I have been trying to stretch out. We're not running, but we want to take a look over here. We have one guy stretching. We can take a look. And then if we pan all the way around, you see in the parking lot over here.
So everybody's getting ready here, stretching, and we're just less than an hour away from the start of the big 15K here at the start line. But right now we're going to send it back to you guys. Back to you.
A lot of preparation. I saw a lot of people on the course yesterday.
Yeah.
Stretching out, a lot of wheelchairs, getting a lay of the land because they're not from here.
Right.
And they need to see what this course is all about, some of them for the first time.
Absolutely. And there's a lot to the course. There's some flat parts, there's some uphills, there's some steep uphills, there's some downhills. So certainly a lot to a lot to take in, and you just got to be ready for it. And that, not counting whatever the weather's going to do. And the cloud cover is here, which actually helps racers, but it is a little stickier than I think they thought it was going to be. So we'll have to see what happens.
We do want to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's the start of the 5K event from Burstone Road. Good morning, and thank you for joining us for the 2019 Boilermaker. I'm Kristen Copeland along Steve McMurray. We are here at the finish line, but we have to get you back to Burstone Road.
That's right. The start of the FX Caprera of Watertown 5K is just a couple minutes away. So Jolene Ferris is down there manning that post. Jolene, good morning once again.
Good morning once again, Steve. Boy, this is exciting. They're about to start the 5K. Look at those faces. We're looking at the very front of the starting line. Each of those 4,000 to 5,000 faces represent such a commitment, so much training before work, after work, during lunch hour. These people are getting out there and hitting the streets. 2-minute warning we just heard. I don't know if people realize that, you know, it's a great event, it's a fun event, but a lot of hard work, focus, dedication, and commitment goes into training for this race. A lot of young folks in this start. I see recent Whitesboro High School graduate, people of all ages. The excitement level at this point is palpable. All of that training, good days, bad days, good weather days, bad weather days. You get out there anyway and you put in the work and you put in the time, all adding up to this morning, all for today. 1 minute and 15 seconds left until the start of the Boilermaker 5K. People are in their corrals waiting to begin. They just finished the national anthem a few minutes ago during the commercial break. We just got the 1 minute warning. You could see people inching up. Once they cross that big blue Boilermaker start, their chips will activate, and that's how you get your accurate time. You could see people reaching for their wrists. A lot of people like to set their own watches, do their own time, clock their own time. I see so many nerves, so much nervousness and excitement. And we're coming up on 30 seconds until the start. 30-second warning for the start of the Boilermaker 5K road race.
5Kers, make some noise!
And like they say, the adrenaline will get you through. Here's the countdown. Let's listen and watch.
11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good luck, runners. Once again, the Boilermaker 5K road race is underway. Big crowd, so slow to start, involves a lot of walking sometimes to the starting line, but sure enough, those thousands of runners are making their way. Slow trot at the beginning, little bit of an uphill, then it's pretty much all downhill to the end. Let's watch them go.
We talk about the 15K having an endless start line, but look at the 5K, 4,000 to 5,000 people here competing. The fastest time the 5K has seen in the men's division is 15 minutes, 18 seconds.
Which is flying.
Flying.
It's absolutely flying.
On the women's side, that record was actually set last year, 17 minutes, 56 seconds, so just shy of 18 minutes. Coming in on the women's division, and that was set last year.
Which is also flying. I appreciate Jolene being out there this morning. I know she wanted to run the 5K, but training didn't work out for her. So Jolene, talk to us a little bit, if you can, about your perspective from seeing it on the sidelines.
There were 4,900 registrants last year. Now, they capped this race at 4,500, but what ends up happening is, and they don't do this as a rule, but some people, if they can prove injury or prove they couldn't get their training in from the 15K division, they will be dropped down to the 5K, so that is why the 5K numbers increase ever so slightly just before the race.
Sort of an overflow, as you will. Wow, and still coming. And just to show you how this has changed over time, I remember doing planning for this race a few years ago, and we were on this shot for about 2, maybe 3 minutes, and then the starting line would clear. And now it's just, again, to get 5,000 plus through, it's a task. So congratulations. Obviously, this started as a training run, and now it's honestly taken on a life of its own.
I still look at this as the baby of Boilermaker Weekend. It started in 2000, so it's 19 years old at this point. In 2007 was the first year the run was timed, but it wasn't until 2011 the run turned into a race where scoring was awarded to the top 3 in each division.
Right.
For the very first time, there is a legally blind runner running with his guide dog, Ed. They are from the Gloversville area running this 5K. First ever.
Wow.
So when we see a dog on the course, that is the reason you were seeing a dog on the course. Ed is a trained professional.
There you go. Remember, and kudos to both of them for taking on the 5K challenge this Boilermaker morning. So there we go, the 5K start. And you see that mini sea of humanity right there now heading up Burstone Road. They're going to take the turn by Utica College and then head back down. Tyler Fallville was last year's 5K winner, and he is registered and running today. So we'll see if he can defend his title.
From Boonville.
From
Local.
Boonville, up, and he again was flying. He was about 16:13 last year was his winning time. So we should see him shortly after 7:30. And the rest of the folks at the top of that pack. But not too long ago, that's what the Boilermaker itself, the 15, would have looked like, and now the 5K has taken that same step. So, so obviously, congratulations to the folks in charge of that. And as we've mentioned, it's taken on a life of its own, and it's great stuff.
The 5K start is an incline.
Right.
You get right off and running, and you are going uphill. The 5K makes its turn onto Champlain Ave, turning right onto Champlain Ave, before making the right-hand turn to Whitesboro Street and down to the finish.
So the 5K start is in the books. We're going to take a quick break, and we come back. We'll have more of Boilermaker 2019 here on News Channel 2. We'll be back right after this.
Morning, and thank you for joining us for News Channel 2's coverage of the best 15K in the country, live from the finish line right now.
That's right. The 5K just underway just a few minutes ago, and we should see the top of that pack coming in give or take 10 minutes, I would say, and 5,000 entrants plus in that, and we'll see the finishing. The finishing percentage for that race is usually pretty high, but the tough part about the 5K, as you were mentioning, that you start on an incline, right? You're running up a hill, and I don't think folks realize that. So it's a 5K, but it's a tough 5K. So you still have to train pretty judiciously to make sure that you're going to be on top of your game, and then multiply that exponentially, obviously, when you go to 15. So
we've seen the course change over the years, not in terms of where we're running, but the scenery, if you will. And Burstone Road has changed quite a bit over the last couple of years. Construction has to keep starting and stopping to accommodate the Boilermaker Road race. But one thing that the runners are going to see, I know last year a new feature was there was a barrier, and runners had to take that into account that they didn't have to take into account the first 40 years. But this year, there's now a sidewalk, a beautiful sidewalk along the right side of the course. So I'm predicting there's going to be a lot more spectators in that one area. I talked to Katrina, who was at the expo on Friday, and she was stopped by somebody who said, for the first time ever, they're putting a water stop there.
Yep.
And there hasn't been, there's 20-plus water stops throughout the course, start to finish. But that was that one location that never had a water stop, and now it can have a water stop because of the improvements along the way.
Absolutely. And I think, And that is for the 15K. That is the toughest part of the course because you've already completed over 5 miles. You've run through the golf course, and there's zero shade on Burstone Road. And they just redid the bridge, and there's a fresh coat of pavement on that. So it's probably a good thing for the runners that the sun isn't beating down this morning because that pavement would be that much hotter. But it is a wide open part of the course, so certainly putting a water stop on there is going to be beneficial for all, not just the 5K folks.
I know while we're talking and we're waiting for our 5K finishers, the 15K is prepping right now.
Yep.
Joe Wolzinski, the head trainer of Go the Distance, he talks to our group beforehand and says, get to the start 1 hour ahead of time. You have 14,500 people coming to a course with roads closed. You don't want to have an extra set of nerves worrying, how am I going to get there, get into position? So you want to get to the start line about 7 o'clock. So hopefully they've all done their homework. They knew how they were going to get to the course. They're at their meeting place right now, doing some stretching, getting their bathroom duties out of the way, and taking pictures. Because what ends up happening, of course, we have international runners, and they're coming in, they're gunning for that money, right? But everyone else in the pack, this is a fun event. This is a time to meet up with people from out of town. They run together one time a year, and this is it. Selfies have become the norm in the corrals of the Boilermaker, and what we started, 2-3 years ago, is we put our crew in the corrals with the runners.
Right.
We have our start line camera. We have Keith Hunt on our scaffolding, and he's been a very popular fixture over the years. I know the runners look forward to seeing him every year and start yelling out his name. But the last couple of years, we've taken a camera and gone into the corrals. We are mobile. We are not attached to the sidewalk like in some of our other locations. So we're getting right in there with the runners while they're getting ready.
And to tell their stories, because what's going through their head, because they've been training for so long, and now that that morning is here, and you're 20 minutes. Am I doing that right? Oh no, a little more than half an hour away from that big race. So what's going through? Are you going to take some more water? Maybe not. How are you going to work this? And the butterflies. Even if you've run it, Joe Wolzinski will tell you he's run it every year, right? So he's got 40 plus under his belt, and he'll still tell you, I get butterflies every Boilermaker morning, but they're good butterflies, and you churn them into success and the adrenaline. I only ran this race once, and it was many years ago when the field was much smaller. But still, the spectators along the side, I mean, they just push you along. Quite honestly, there's a couple points in the race you don't even feel like your feet are hitting the ground because you're just running on air. It's really awesome.
The shot that you are seeing, that's ECR International to your right, the former Utica Boilers, Boilermaker. Earl Reed starting this event in 1978. So that's the parking lot where you're seeing a sea of people. That's the parking lot for ECR where a lot of the prep work is underway. And you can also see that line of porta potties. 340 porta potties are brought in for the Boilermaker from start to post race party.
Yeah, there's obviously a large contingent there, and then there's a big contingent of them at the 5K start as well. And you will have folks that stop at the 5K start spot, which would be the 6 mile mark, and take a break. Excuse me, because it is a long morning. But for those folks that are going for their personal bests, they want to make sure that they can they don't take any time to do anything out of line and anything that would detract from their time.
I ran the kids run yesterday. That was my Boilermaker.
Did you win?
I did not win. My daughter is actually happy to remind me that I did not win. But there was no winners. Everyone was a winner.
Okay.
But my point is, I was in the largest group with the 4 to 6 year olds, and when you include parents, it's about 1,000 people, right? I couldn't handle that pack. I don't know how they do that with 15,000 people at the start line. I don't know how. A lot of organization. You see different colors on their bibs. That is their ticket to their corral. So the green group will be, let's say, right behind the elites. Then there might be the gray group, then the yellow group. So depending on your experience with the 15K will depend on where you're lining up for the start.
And right now, looks like they're thinking about having a about having the winner come pretty soon, because it's 15 minutes in, and you see them getting ready with the finishing tape.
Again, 15:18 is the fastest 5K time recorded. You're looking at Court Street right now at Stark Street. We have Earl Davis on this camera up above, waiting for our runner. So a couple blocks up.
The Les Diven Media Award winner,
Yes.
Earl Davis.
Congratulations again to our noted photojournalist.
Well deserved, I might add.
Earl not only works News Channel 2's coverage, he is also one of the audio representatives for the Boilermaker Road Race. So the good music that we are hearing behind us is all thanks to Earl Davis. Audio and visual.
You need both. No, absolutely. So kudos to Earl, and congratulations from all of your colleagues and teammates here at News Channel 2. Been doing this a long time, and we really appreciate, and the Boilermaker Committee really appreciates his work.
We will not see a record for the men's 5K, the women's 5K. Last year's time was 16:13, so it looks like we will not beat that time either. We do have a 5K finisher coming around the corner.
There you see the police motorcade, and then the lead truck for the 5K portion. There he is, just turning. That voice you hear is Cindy McMullen from Town Square Radio, getting the crowd pumped up.
You know, number 2's not far behind.
No.
Awards are given out to the top 3 in men's and women's division.
Looking good. The first of our 5K runners. And it's
Tyler Vega is what's being announced right now.
Coming up next, we've got Danny Molesta from Schenectady. Come on,
Congratulations, Tyler, and a
let's hear it for Danny. I see a few more runners.
nice finish there.
3, actually.
Didn't quite catch the time, but wasn't the record time, but still, it was pretty substantial.
Was that my dad? My dad holding the ribbon?
I believe he
Okay.
was.
All right. You never know where he's going to be.
They're running about a 6-minute mile here.
All right.
Runners coming in. Clayton Davis from Newport. Congratulations,
Clayton Davis from Newport, so another local finisher there. So
We're not going to see the women's time beat this year. Last year, 17:56 was the record. Right now, we're at 18:23. Here we go.
Daniel Rios, congratulations. Great times. Got a few more. We got a first lady coming up.
Lexi Bernard.
14-year-old Lexi Bernard is what's being announced at the finish line. So, wow.
Dominic Ambrose coming up, 15 years old from Utica.
So, wow. So we've got
DK Smalloy, 15 from New Hartford. Some great times here. We are
so the men's and women's winner, the 5K, have crossed. So congratulations, and now you'll see a few more 15K finishers starting to come in.
I love
5K finishers, 5K.
5K.
My
I
bad.
love seeing them. I saw Sequoia come through, a couple of announcements from high schools. You know, their cross country, their track teams, they carry, it doesn't matter if it's summer vacation, they carried their jersey proudly. on the Boilermaker course. Gary Libertor and Katrina Smith are manning our 15K start at this point, and they are in the corrals with the runners as they're getting ready for the big event.
Well, good morning, guys. What an emotional time this is right behind us here.
It really is. I can feel the excitement. Everyone's packing in. You can see the sea of people behind us, and they're ready to go. And you can see the seriousness on some people's faces.
Let's go up, Brett.
Take a look up, Brett.
Just to give you a
Up,
perspective, all the way down Culver. Check that out. Is that amazing or what? Wow. And these folks have been in line for a while. What does it feel like to just get ready?
Terrifying.
You've done this before, though, right?
I think this is my 6th year doing it, yeah.
How long does it take for you to get up to the start line?
It depends. From here, it'll probably take about 6 minutes, I would assume. Yeah, not terrible.
So you're ready to go?
Ready to go, yeah.
Very good. And how was it getting up this morning and getting to this point?
Absolutely terrible. We woke up at 3 a.m.
No kidding. Where are you from?
Outside of Albany, New York.
And you drove in this morning, or you've been in town?
Bus.
All right, well, good luck to you. Good luck to all of you here. So fun. Boilermaker 2019, they're all ready. You think you got up early? Look at that. 3 in the morning.
Yeah, we did talk to the president of the Boilermaker earlier, and he says something brand new here this year is that they have more audio equipment up and down Culver Ave, so everybody is more informed about what's going on, so you can hear the start.
It is, and they've been telling everyone, where to go, what to do, like how to get to where they're going throughout the morning. So it's really great to have that technology and to have, to be able to tell people where to go.
That's for sure. And we are now just about 24 minutes away from the start of the 15K, and I know we saw the wheelchair racers getting ready in position. They're only about 11 minutes away from starting.
So that starts very soon, and it's really filling up here. From 5 minutes ago to now, it just packed it in. So.
Beautiful.
All right, Gary, let's send it back to, we're going to go to break.
Yep,
and
we're sending it back to break. Stay tuned. We'll have much
this.
more right after this.
The 2019 Boilermaker Road Race here on News Channel 2. I'm Kristen Copeland alongside Steve McMurray. We want to get to Jason Paulus right now, standing by with the winner of the 5K men's division.
Thanks, guys, very much. Tyler Vega, winner of the 15K. Congratulations, my friend. You're from Maryland, visiting family up here. Tell me how you felt the course was today.
Oh, I thought it was great. It was nice weather compared to Maryland, where it's like 99 degrees outside every day. It was good for the hills, really good downhill coming in the end, and I felt pretty solid.
Finished right around 17:27. How is that for you, personal best?
It's a 5K personal best. I usually run 3 miles where I am, So considering that I ran a 17:02 as my 3-mile time, that's really good for the 5K.
Is this your first time here at the Boilermaker?
It's my third. Last year I got 5th.
Last year you got 5th, so moving up in the world. You think you graduate to 15K next year?
I like the 5s, but maybe depending on what my college I go to wants me to do.
Go enjoy. Congratulations, my friend. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
There's your 5K winner right there. Let's go back to you guys.
Jason, thank you. And we are watching the finish line right now as droves of 5K finishers are coming in at this point. Again, you see those strips that they're running over when they cross the finish line? That's stopping their time. So in the beginning, when there's that pack, their time doesn't start until they cross the threshold at the start of the race. So there's one of those strips at the beginning of the event as well. So their official time is not the time you necessarily see above the finish line.
Right, on the clock. How about that? He was up visiting family and won a 5K while he was there. That's a pretty productive vacation or pretty productive visit. Not bad. And he was honest. I appreciate that. You gonna do the 15K next year? No, I like the 5. I won it. All right, good.
See you next year.
See you next year. Defend your title.
We are 5 minutes away from the start of the wheelchair event. And here we are lined up in East Utica getting ready. A record field of 45. Organizers did say they expected about 40, if not fewer, to show up at this point. And again, you can do the math right here. You're not seeing too many. We do have 7 female competitors this year. We just scanned the crew right there. I saw Herman Garrick. What Herman is doing, he's a local runner. He's a go the distance. What Herman does is he participates in events all over the country. He does LA Marathon. He does, he hits all of the popular events. He's recruiting for the Boilermaker. So while he is a top competitor, and I do expect to see him win one day, he is bringing in the best talent from around the world to compete against him at the Boilermaker Road Race.
Absolutely, and I should mention Kevin Burnside. We meet with Kevin a lot, one of the Citron Stars. We play basketball against him. He wheels circles around us. He's in it, as well as Herman, you mentioned. I should mention Jacob Moore from Rome registered, as well as Creed Shabort. That's Rome, Georgia. See, I read that. But he won it, the Masters. Creed Shabort won it a few years ago. So
Daniel Romanchuk, though, is back. He is defending his title. We had asked Herman, is he coming back? He said, yeah, I asked him. He's coming.
He's coming.
So you're bringing the champ back to compete against you.
That's right. That's a true ambassador right there is Herman. So, and again, like you said, Herman travels all around the country doing these races and encouraging folks, hey, come back to my hometown, come back to Utica and take part in the Boilermaker. And that's why this field is so big. Should mention Michael Olson from Waterville also signed up to do this. So hopefully they can get to the finish line. So 34 is what we're told the number is going to be of wheelchair competitors this year. Again, the field fluctuates right up until race day based on how someone feels. And quite honestly, if they don't feel up to doing it, well, you know what? Then they're better off just not participating because you don't want to hurt yourself or do any longer term damage.
We have a pack of 5K finishers coming in. We are on the lookout for our friends and family, as you are. We're looking for Brooke Rashika, Jolene's daughter. We asked her to work too. She said no.
Not yet.
Not yet. Jill Reel, on the lookout for Jill. She's running the 5K.
And while you're looking at the 5K finish, we're about a minute away from the wheelchair start. 1 minute away from that wheelchair start. Again, 34 competitors set to go this morning, and they're going to go the 15K, the 9.3 miles, to down here on Court Street in front of the brewery. And the fastest finish you mentioned was 31:45, which is unbelievable time for the wheelchairs. And again, we're just about a minute away from the wheelchair start. There you see the police motorcade getting ready to begin the wheelchair portion of the race. I want to thank our friends at R.A. Dudrak for sponsoring this year's wheelchair coverage here on News Channel 2.
The determination on their faces
Absolutely.
is incredible. Again, this is my favorite part of Boilermaker weekend. We are hearing in our ear that there's a delay to the start of the wheelchair event. We're working to find out the reasoning. It might not be anything at the start. It could be something along the course.
Right.
We're going to work to find out that information for you.
It looks as if they have the timing folks down there working on some things. So we'll see what the issue is down there. But the racers are ready to go. And you mentioned the Citroen Wheelchair Challenge. If someone in a conventional wheelchair finishes in less than 2 hours and 15 minutes, then they will be given a racing wheelchair. And that is that's just a wonderful program there.
We do have Katrina and Gary at the start line right now. They are with the president of the Boilermaker Road Race, Mark Donovan. They are able to get us an answer now on why there's a delay in the wheelchair start.
Well, good morning once again. We did talk to Mark just a second ago, and he didn't exactly know why this race right behind us here is delayed. He just left to try to find out. So we're not exactly sure why this race is delayed or whether it will have an impact on the start of the 15K as well.
And yes, that's the big question here. Does there need to be a certain amount of time in between each race, the 15-minute period in between each race? So they're actually dealing with the situation right now and trying to find out themselves what's going on, how long this delay is going to last, and if that will affect the start times of all of the other race here.
And Brent, if you can zoom in, you can actually see the president with Jim Stasitis right up there. They're actually talking right now. I'm not exactly sure what is happening, but again, we're waiting to hear from them on what's going on as far as the delay goes. So hopefully things will smooth out here in the next few minutes, and then they can start the 15K on time. But right now, we're sort of in limbo.
We're in a holding pattern.
Yeah.
We're waiting to find out what's going on, and this is kind of new to everyone. I don't know that we've had a delay for the start of the wheelchairs or delays at all.
No. And beyond there, you can see our camera crew, Keith Hunt, right up there on the podium up there. That is the view that you're getting from this way, and we are behind the racers here right on Culver Ave, and the actual start of the 15K
is
for the other racers right
down that way. You can see that
pan.
sea of people that are waiting to start their 15K, and a lot of people. We were just down there in the middle of the pack earlier, and it is just filling up. Everyone's really excited to get this race underway. Really fun morning. Beautiful weather. There's a slight breeze. It's breezy, and the sun is kind of coming out, but the cloud cover is really doing wonders for everyone here. Okay, and here we don't have an update yet from the
for safety out on the course. That we will have the traditional 15-minute gap between the start.
So if you heard that, there is going to be a traditional 15-minute gap between the wheelchair competition and the 15K. So whenever the wheelchair starts is when 15 minutes later they will start the 15K. So obviously there's going to be a delay because right now we're almost 4 minutes behind schedule here with the wheelchair race. So we're going to keep you posted as much as we can. The president of the Boilermaker just came by and didn't have time for us right now, but as soon as he does, we'll come back here and
sure thing. It's a situation that's unfolding kind of as we speak, so we're all trying to figure out what's going on as it happens, and they're behind our photographer Brent here discussing this and kind of moving forward with what's going to happen on the course and how we're going to deal with that from here.
So Steve and Kristen, we're going to send it back to you for now, and we are going to try to work to get more information from the president of the Boilermaker. Back to you.
All right, Gary and Katrina, thank you for that update, and we'll just have to see at what time the wheelchairs leave, and then there'll be that gap, obviously, to get them on their way, and then start the America's greatest 15K. And hey, you know what? Things like this this is fine. We'll just move things back a little bit. The post-race party goes till noon, so there'll be plenty of time for everybody to enjoy what's going on. And you want to make sure everything's right. And not sure exactly what the issue is with causing the delay for the wheelchair start, but again, everything has to be working properly, from the timing to security to the course conditions. Everything has to be perfect to get the race started, and you don't want to leave anything to chance. So if you do it, you have a delay, and that causes a delay for the 15K, so be it. We'll get going from there.
Well,
And
the newsy in us. So I have like 4 text messages in, and Jason just got off the phone with the director of the wheelchair division. Jason, what can you tell us?
Here's what I just found out. They are in a holding pattern. They don't even have an answer exactly right now. I talked to Gary Roback's sister, who is answering his phone for him right now, standing near the area, and they do not have a reason yet. But will get back to me as soon as they do have one. This is perplexing, and we've never seen, this is unprecedented. We've never seen the race not start at 8 o'clock.
Because the delay of the wheelchair event.
Yes.
Well, it might not be a wheelchair delay. It could be a delay for the the running
course.
event, the whole course. So there will be the 15 minutes in between the events, is what we're being told?
Yes, that's what's going to happen. So the race will start 15 minutes after the wheelchair division goes off. But that is up in the air. We do not have an exact time of when that's supposed to happen. And we're checking with sources. I'm going to stay on the phone until I can find out more information.
Just got off the phone with Mark DePerno. He's the head of the Citroen Stars. He doesn't have a reason why. We want to go back to Gary and Katrina right now to see if they have any answers.
With 4 victories each.
Well, good morning once again. I did talk to the president. Good morning once again. I did talk to the president, Mark Donovan, just a second ago, and he says he's been told that there's an incident just more than a mile in on the course dealing with law enforcement. So we're not exactly sure what it is, but that is what's holding up this race right behind us. So he is looking to get more information, but right now he's not sharing anything as far as what police are telling him, other than that there's some incident.
Yeah, very limited information, and it is a little bit of a tense moment right now. You know, everyone's kind of, trying to figure out what's going on, and as soon as we know more, we'll be the first ones to tell you what's going on and when this race is going to start. But for now, it's a holding pattern, and you can see, everyone gets ready, and it's, it's tense, it's stressful, it's exciting, but when you're ready to start, and you don't get to start. I think the nerves start to act up a little bit as well. So
obviously everybody's stretched, everybody's ready, and then all of a sudden there's this delay. So it's a little uneasiness right now, especially knowing that law enforcement is involved about a mile in up on Culver. So again, we're waiting to hear something. I know you said the emergency services director tried to give you a call.
And so we don't know exactly what is going on, but we're trying to figure it out. And we're actually, we're on the phone. We're texting people back and forth. We're checking in with the race director, who is just a shot over there. So we will continue to check in with them because, again, we're all trying to figure out what's going on, and there are a lot of people here ready to run the race. There are a lot of people ready to watch the race, and we want to keep you up to date.
And let's just hope it's nothing major down the road here. But again, as soon as we do find something else out, we will pass it on. Steve and Kristen, for now, we're going to send it back to you.
Thank you. If we're able to, if we could go to Alicia D'Addario. We do have Alicia about a mile in on the course on Culver Avenue right now. She's messaging us right now saying an ambulance had just gone by. Alicia, are you with us?
Guys. Yeah, hey there, guys. Just about 30 seconds to a minute ago, there was an ambulance followed by a police car. Again, we don't really know the situation. They are out of our view, so it's not necessarily anything right here at the mile mark, but we did watch them go by. And then just about maybe 5 minutes before that, there were other 2 police cars that turned just down that road down there. So again, a lot of sirens, really no answers. We're going to keep you guys updated if anything else comes through here, but it was an ambulance followed by a police car. I can't hear the sirens now, so that means they are further ahead. But if we do have any more traffic coming through here, we will let you guys know.
Alicia, thank you. So again, this is something that we've never really had to deal with here for Boilermaker Sunday, waiting to get the latest information on that. Now, this is obviously a start that we've had the last several decades, but not the original start time for the Boilermaker Road Race. Boilermaker at one point started, I think, at 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the year I ran it, which was like 1990 along in there, I want to say it started late, like 10:30, even 11 o'clock. And what had happened is the field became so big and it became so much warmer as the day went on. They moved the start back to 8 o'clock. Now,
so the first 2 years was 10:30.
Okay.
80 to 85 was a 9 o'clock start. 1986 to 1993 was an 8:30 start, which we're getting closer to.
Right.
And we have had the 8 o'clock start for the runners in the 15K since 1994.
Right. So again, we're not sure what the cause of the delay was. As Alicia mentioned, an ambulance did go by her location with a police escort. The United County 911 page is reporting a medical emergency in the Culver Ave and Poe Street area. That may or may not be it. Obviously, we don't want to speculate on that. But what we do know is that the wheelchairs were supposed to head out at 7:45, and then there'll be a 15-minute gap between the start of the wheelchair and the start of the 15K, and the wheelchairs have yet to start. So, again, as Kristen mentioned, 8:30 was the start time in the mid-80s, 86 to 93. So at that point, if the wheelchairs were to get going in the next few minutes, you're looking at about 8:15, 8:20 for the 15K, folks. And again, now those butterflies we talked about, amped up even a little bit more, because now you're looking at the clock, you're looking at your watches, you're seeing that it's almost 8 o'clock, and you see that the wheelchair competitors are still at the starting line. And, we're getting texts. Our sales manager, Brittany Bean, is running the 15K, and she just texted us, do we know what the delay is about? And she's in the middle of the back of the pack. So that's what the folks in the pack are talking about is, what's going on?
We should put out a tweet. Let's put out a tweet, put out a push, let all of the runners know. They're all running with their phones anyway.
Right.
We need to inform these 14,500 runners what's going on. But we're going to continue to watch. This might be completely unrelated to the Boilermaker.
Right, and that's what we're saying. It's not. We shouldn't speculate on exactly what the delay is. We'll talk to Mark Donovan and those folks once everything wraps up and gets going to see what the delay had been. And again, it's Boilermaker morning. Everybody's here. And the post-race party goes until noon, so there's plenty of time for everybody to get here and finish and just take their time and have a good time is what it's all about. And if you get a personal best at the same time, that's great.
I don't know what we're seeing on our screen right now. Your guess is as good as mine.
On the left side,
what is that? Indiana Jones and the boulder. He was being chased by the boulder.
Nice.
Okay, bravo.
That's
bravo.
Pretty good. I like that.
Very good. That's a new to the race as well.
I want to thank Jeremy Ryan for deciphering that. We couldn't see that from our vantage point exactly what it was. Again, if you're just joining us, we're just a few minutes delayed. The wheelchair start was supposed to head off at 7:45. Let's get an update from the starting line and Gary Libertor on that. Gary, good morning once again.
Well, good morning once again. Katrina and I are right in the midst of the wheelchair racers here, and we do have Stephanie right here. And what's it like to sort of have this happen? It's never happened before.
This is my first time ever doing the race, so it's a little nerve-wracking because I'd like to just get going and hopefully win a chair, but can't get going if you don't start the race.
And right now we're unsure exactly what's happening up further. It may be some kind of medical condition or some law enforcement issue, but what's it been like to sort of just wait and not know what's going on?
It's been quite a process of just sitting, waiting, wondering, hoping to get going soon, figuring out if I have time to fix my ponytail for the 7th time and fidgeting around.
We asked you as well, how long have you been preparing for this, and physically do you have to get ready for this moment, and is this delay going to affect you?
Yeah, it always does. Every delay just kind of affects you in a lot of different ways. The sun's starting to come out, right? You're mentally prepared to be ready to go. So no matter what, it kind of does affect you. But,
sure.
But it is what it is. That's why, you work so hard to get there. It doesn't affect you that much at the end of the day.
What does it do for your nerves here?
Oh, I'm having fun. I'm excited. Yeah.
So no nerves at all due to this little slight delay?
No, this will be fun.
We're just hoping everything's all right ahead of us and we can get this thing going. So as soon as we hear something, we'll let you guys know, and hopefully
we'll pass
you'll be
it
on
along to
your
you firsthand. We've been in contact with law enforcement, and we're trying to figure out what's going on as well. So as soon as we know, we will let you guys know, and hopefully we can get off without a hitch. Just so you know when it's time to go. All right, well, good luck to both of you.
Good luck. Again, it's a developing situation, obviously, as we say in the news business so many times, but again, we're still waiting for some word from law enforcement. I know we're
talking to some
bits and
people
there's-
down the track that some of our news team, they say viewers say they saw a fire truck, lights on, law enforcement down there, and we don't know what exactly is going on at this point, and it's all unfolding, and we just know that there's a lot of emergency personnel on the course at this point. So
and we did hear someone may have been cut or has some sort of lacerations, but again, that's all off the record. We're not exactly sure what's going on after the 1 mile marker, between about the 1 and 2.
Right.
That's what Mark Donovan told us earlier. But
right, and there's no word on whether it's race related or non-race related. It could be something completely having nothing to do with the Boilermaker, but again, it's causing this delay, and we are working to find out what's going on to make this. And I know that these wheelchair racers are getting really excited to get on the course and to get moving at this point. So sounds like a little bit of excitement there. You can see, everyone's just kind of waiting. It's a holding pattern, and they're
giving these racers some waters here, trying to get them ready. So once again, as soon as we do have more information, come back to us. We'll pass it along. For now, we're going to send it back to you, Steve and Kristen.
All right, thank you, Gary and Katrina. We'll continue to follow that developing situation. What you might have seen while Gary and Katrina were talking in the inset, the Segway crossing the finish line. That's part of the training film documentary that they're putting together for next year. Hey, I want to take a quick second to go to Jason Powlis right now. He's got one of the sponsors of the big race today, and that's Eve Vanderwall from Excellus. Jason, take it away.
Thanks very much, Steve. Eve, so glad you could join us. It's loud down here. It's fun down here. Talk about being a sponsor of the best 15K in the country.
It's amazing. I mean, Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield, our mission is living a healthy lifestyle. What better than the Boilermaker 15K? We're so excited to be the presenting sponsor, and we have over 60 runners from across the thruway that are participating today.
What makes this race such the community event, in your opinion?
I just think it's for everyone, whether you're walking on Saturday, the kids run, the wheelchair, the 5K. My brother actually has his 8 to 12-year-old soccer team running as a team for the 5K. Anyone could do it. That's what makes it a community. And if you can't run like myself, then you're here supporting the runners who are running.
And it's all about staying healthy, too. I know there's been a huge kick, especially the last 10, 15 years. We as a nation need to stay healthy. We as a nation need to improve our health. And staying fit and exercising is part of a daily routine that we need to do as individuals.
Exactly, totally agree. And again, for Excellus, it is a healthy lifestyle. It's taking small steps. It's not needing to do the 15K. Like you said, it's even the walk or just getting up and walking a quarter of a mile and just making healthy food choices. And we're not saying to give up everything. We always say in moderation.
Well, and that goes hand in hand with what the Boilermaker does. If you're going to train for the 5K or the 15K, you need to eat healthy so that you can do your personal best.
That's exactly right. And that's our motto, is to really live a healthy lifestyle, small steps at a time, and you'll get there.
All right, Eve, thanks so much. We're going to send it back down to the start line. The wheelchair is getting ready to go.
Thanks so much.
Well, I guess we're going to take it back here at the finish line again. For those of you just joining us, we're past the top of the hour, and you're probably expecting to see the 15K. Well, the wheelchair start has been delayed. That was supposed to go at 7:45, and then the 15K would go 15 minutes after that. So as soon as the wheelchair steps off, 15 minutes later, you'll see the biggest 15K. Down at the starting line, we have our own Gary Libertor and Katrina Smith. They've been manning that post this morning and trying to keep us up to date on what the delay may be and everything else that's going on there. So, Gary and Katrina, take it away.
Morning once again. Good morning once again. I did just talk to Oneida County Sheriff Rob Mashel and Mayor Robert Palmieri, and both of them are not willing to say exactly what happened up the race yet. But again, as you just heard, the race is about to begin, the wheelchair race, in about a minute
from now. So, and I just talked to a couple of the wheelchair racers, and they took it in stride, and they are excited to get going. A little nervous, but excited to get going. We're going to step out of the way. told that the call is unrelated to the Boilermaker, but let's stop focusing on that for a few minutes and let's just wish these men and women all good luck. They're all ready. They've all trained really hard for this. Ready? Woo! Here we go.
What a great
They're
vantage
ready to
point
go.
right here. And Katrina and I did talk to a couple of racers just a few moments ago. They said it does add to the anxiety of this little bit of a wait. But there they are.
There they go.
There they go, right down Culver Ave.
All right, and
as
off
you
to a
heard,
beautiful
15
start.
minutes from now, the 15K race will begin.
Yeah, so that's the policy. That's what we're dealing with here. It is a 15-minute gap
And if we
between
can
the
swing
start
around
of
here
the
and see
wheelchair.
the runners here, Brent.
And let's take a look at the
This
runners
is the
because
start of the
wheelchair racers are off.
15K. These are the racers that are the runners that are expected to finish pretty fast, so that's why they are up at the front of the line, Katrina.
And we're not usually up here at the beginning of the elite field because we don't want to get run over. They take off really fast when they go, and they're ready to start 15 minutes from now. That means a delay for the start of this as well. And I was talking to one wheelchair racer who's done it for about, he says, 12, 15, 13 years. He said he's never had a delay. Never.
Yeah, this is something new, and obviously they're starting the race, so hopefully good things are ahead up the race course. Nothing too bad that happened, but again, the sheriff I just talked to, and he wasn't willing to share any details as far as what happened.
And I talked to UPD, and they're not saying anything at this point either, but as soon as we learn more information, we have been in contact with law enforcement. We'll continue to be in contact with law enforcement all day, but we want to keep it positive, too, here at the Boilermaker because everybody's been training for months and months and months, and they stretched it out. They're all ready to run, so we don't want to put a damper on the day. We're going to get ready for this. Come back to us when they're ready to let these guys out of the gate.
That's for sure. Back to you guys.
Yeah, hey there, guys. We are again here on Culver and Albany. We are waiting to see some wheelchair racers. It's actually kind of cool. This is my first time being at this location, and Jimmy Joseph was out here training, kind of seeing what the track was like a little bit this morning, and he told me the wind was a little bit more difficult for him, so I don't know if that wind is going to be a big factor for these wheelchair racers. It might be, so something to keep in mind. Again, we are waiting, and actually what's kind of nice is also fans have lined up the streets here very nicely. It was a little quiet here a little bit ago, but now everyone is here waiting to cheer on some wheelchair racers, and I know, hey kid, what's your name?
Alex.
Alex, can we see your sign real quick? Yeah. Awesome. We've got some nice fans here. Again, we are waiting for those wheelchair racers here on Culver Ave. I see some lights, so let's see what we got. Again, it's really cool to see all these local racers. We have Jimmy Joseph, we have Herman Garrick, and I know Daniel Romanchek, who's the guy to beat for these guys, so it's kind of cool to see who's going to lead the pack. Looks like we've got some flashing lights. We are patiently waiting here. All right, I've just been told I can't really see the subway signs in my way, but the first wheelchair race is coming down the hill. Looks like we've got two neck and neck. This is really cool. Also, this is the first mile. You know, at this point, they're really just trying to get in that groove. Off to a nice, smooth start here. Everyone getting ready to cheer these guys on. That first mile down. Here we go, here we go. We've got our first one. Then we've got a nice grouping here. I'm going to show you what we got. Loving this line. Keep going, guys. Keep going. Loving this line here. They're ready to roll. Also, again, these fans have just been absolutely fantastic cheering these guys on. Guys, we'll be back here with some 15K runners. There's Herman Garrick. Love it, guys. All right, Steve and Kristen, I'm going to toss it back to you guys.
Alicia, thank you. Always a nice sight.
Absolutely. We should mention back down here at the starting line, or finish line, 84-year-old Paul Albaum just finished the 5K. 84 years, 85 next week. So
I think the oldest person in the 15K is 84 years old as well.
So there you go.
We have Gary Liberatore standing by with Mayor Robert Palmieri at the start line.
All right, Gary's procuring that interview. We'll go to him momentarily. But so just if you're joining us again, the 15K has yet to start. It's a 10 after 8. Had a delay on the course, an unspecified delay. Hopefully find out what that's about. But now the wheelchairs are off and going. We're less than 15 minutes away from the start of that 15K. So everything's been pushed back about 20 minutes, give or take. 8:20 is when they're looking to start that 15K. So we're about 20 minutes later than we normally would be. But again, the cloud cover is still here, so that may the weather condition may stay pretty much the same through. I think if there was an hour or 2 hour delay, you would have the weather conditions would play a larger role than perhaps they will with just a brief 20-minute delay as it is now. But one thing this is doing too, though, is it's allowing the some of the 5K folks, the back of the pack 5K folks, to finish before the elite runners come in. For the finish of the 15K. Well, in years past, when you have that 20-minute, we don't have a 20-minute window, there's some mixing of that goes on, and that'll be less of a concern now with the delay. It is a party atmosphere down here at the finish. If you can hear the music through our mics, it's hard for us to hear anything else that's going on. But and then the post-race party, the party atmosphere continues right on through noon behind the brewery, and then folks go home and have their own parties and whatnot. So it's a holiday. We've talked about it before. Folks come back to run this race year after year. We were talking to various merchants around town, and they say it's like a holiday. They staff up for Boilermaker weekend because all of a sudden you've got a bunch of people coming into town for the weekend. Restaurants, some of the local beer distributors certainly have a little more business throughout the weekend.
You know what's interesting is when I was coming in and doing my security check, and they were checking my bags, I saw the canines, the police canines, going up and searching around the bars. I've never seen that happen before.
Well, that's where folks are going to be congregating. So later today, most likely, if not sooner. So we're about maybe 10 minutes, give or take, away from the beginning of the 15K, the big portion of this race. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quick break, and we come back. Jason Paulus and Nate Getman will take you through the sights and sounds of the 15K race. That's when News Channel 2's coverage of the Boilermaker continues right after this.
And welcome back to WKTV's coverage of the 2019 Boilermaker Road Race. We are live here on the air, and if you're just tuning in and wondering why everybody isn't already running, we had a delay to the start of the wheelchair race, and due to particular reasons, you have to have 15 minutes in between the start of the wheelchair race to the start of the 15K. Well, we are waiting an extra 15 minutes because the race got underway for the wheelchair division at 8:05. Joining me, as always, is Nate Getman, our race analyst. And Nate, if you're an elite runner or a runner that runs for important time and you're now thrown off a little bit, you're 20 minutes starting later, does that have any effect on your race today?
I mean, these are trained professionals, so I don't expect it'll affect them too much. They have a lot of room at the start to warm up, so I'm sure they probably took that 15 minutes to stretch out a little more, keep loose, and I noticed the weather seems to be kind of a cooler breeze coming through.
Sure.
That may affect their kind of tightness and may make them a little more tight, but again, these are professionals. A short delay is not going to bother them that much.
And you could see, some of them are taking this opportunity with about 5 minutes or so before they're expected to go to kind of just move around. They were standing in place for a little while, and now it's time to stretch out a little bit, and that's a good thing as we get ready here. Let's talk about some of the elite runners that we expect to do well today. Obviously, Gabriel Guille from Tanzania, the defending champion, is number one on the list, isn't he?
Yes, he is, again, the class of the field. I think the men's race is a little more settled, whereas the women's race, I think, is really wide open. I predict an Ethiopian sweep, but any number of 5 or 6, maybe 7 or 8 individuals could contend for the title.
And when you look at this list of the men's elite field, Guille stands out because he's had an outstanding year. I mean, he was first here last year. He did a great job in the Houston half marathon, finishing first at Lilac Bloomsday, which is a 12K race back in May.
Yes, and I think that gives us a bigger body of work to kind of analyze. Some of the other racers that are contending against him just haven't put out the numbers that we can kind of analyze.
Let's look at the women's field. And you talked about it earlier. You said, hey, Jason, when Mary Wissera stepped aside and said she wasn't coming due to health reasons, she needed more time to recuperate from the BA 5K, or 10K, I'm sorry. That changed this whole field, and any one of these 3 Ethiopians could win it.
Yes, and I predicted Lindsay Flanagan would be the top American because she was the top American here last year. But Allie Kiefer is a late add. I think she could really has an outside shot at winning this, too. That would be a first American in a long time.
Wow, that would be awesome.
I see a top 5 finish for her.
Let's look at our top local runners if we have a moment. In the men's side, you've got Matt Lacey from Clinton. He seems to be the cream of the crop.
Yes, he always performs really well here. He has a much faster PR from a few years ago, but I still expect that he'll be in the low 50-minute range. Andy Ford has run really well his freshman year at St. John Fisher. He's had a great spring training and a good start to his racing season. So
and quick mention, because we're getting ready to start the race on the women's side, Kat Beck, who is married to Matt Lacey, is one of the cream of the crop when it comes to the women's local division. All right, we are counting down, and there they are. Amanda Hatfield as well, and Jessica Charles of Oriskany.
Jessica Charles won the Erie Canal Half Marathon in June.
We are getting ready to start the race. We're about maybe a minute and a half or so away, and we're hoping that this gets underway smoothly, calmly. That's Dave Katz. He's running the start line. He will give the cue when to start. We are just moments away from the 2019 Boilermaker Road Race, the 15K start. 14,500 people capped off. Usually a little bit less than that when it will end up finishing the race. Somewhere in the 11,000s, 12,000s will finish the race for numerous reasons of why. But we are counting down to the start. And Nate, this is when most people, the calm sets in and the excitement starts to brew inside when you're standing in that corral, right?
Yeah, I still get nervous watching that. I remember standing just behind that line, and it's a great feeling, and to know that there are several thousand people behind you, it's really very impressive.
Less than a minute away now from the start of the 15K road race here on News Channel 2, WKTV, your local leader for coverage of the Boilermaker Road Race. We're going to stand by and get ready to run the best 15K in the country. Yeah, there they are. The start of the 2019 Boilermaker Road Race here on News Channel 2. Thousands hitting the streets of Utica. It's overcast too, so this might be just a nice, and the breeze has picked up too. That can help.
Yeah, I think when we got here, you could feel the air was a little heavier. You could feel a little more humidity, but I think that has cleared a bit. That will definitely help the runners, and we'll see if the sun holds out a little. You'll notice what I described yesterday was that the front was going to be a little thinner, and already you can see the difference in the front, that there just aren't as many elite runners in that lead pack.
And that's something that we talked about this week, and especially the last couple of days, is that the elite field got much smaller. People are canceling. We had one Masters winner, previous winner, Kevin Castile. He couldn't make it because of the hurricane down in Louisiana.
Yeah, as you know, there are a lot of factors that are outside of the Boilermakers' control, including weather and injuries, and those play into a lot of the cancellations. Again, it's not anything against the Boilermaker because people really love to come running here.
And your first look now at our bike cam. Photojournalist Kirk Tupai on the bike as always, and you've got a lead pack there of about a dozen folks or more hanging out on their way down the course on Culver Avenue. About a minute and a half into the race right now. Looking live on the bike cam. Nice stride, and I'll tell. And what we're going to talk about now, though, is this first mile or two. You see a group, and in the past, it was about 10 or 11 strong. I'll bet you by the time we get to mile 2, it's down to about 6 or 7. Fair to say?
I think so, but although what I'm seeing already is that you can see just off to the right there in the hat, I believe that's Dan Lennon, who ran at Syracuse, and I think is a top contender as an American, but not necessarily as a winner. So the fact that he is still in that lead pack means that they're going out very conservatively and very slow for the first mile. That may impact that prediction in terms of making a bigger pack if they're going out much slower.
Good eye on that, by the way, and he's run here before.
Yes, he's run here before. He's a product of Syracuse. He comes from Peru, New York, just north of us. He's running for Stoughton Racing, and he's finishing his second year of law school at Albany.
All the great inside stuff here from Nate Getman. Thanks so much for that. Now we're looking at the dual box here of the start line of the Boilermaker, and there you go, the lead pack of elite runners here in the streets of Utica as we continue our coverage of the Boilermaker Road Race here on News Channel 2. Gabriel Guillet is in that pack. I think Edwin Kibichi is in that line as well. All right, we're going to go to Spencer now. Spencer Davidson is on the media truck. Spencer, who can you see?
Hey there, guys. Yeah, there's a pretty big lead pack here at the very beginning of the race. And Nate, I heard you talk a little while ago about the delay in the start and how they're professionals, and they were staying warm in the pen throughout the whole delay and everything. Actually had to be corralled pretty quickly into the start line because they were taking warm-ups on the side streets and everything. So they kind of had a little bit tougher time getting everybody together this year than they did last year. But right now, I mean, we've got a decent pack here. We've got in the middle right there, it's Steven Sambu with the 24 bib. Right next to him, I believe that is the, it's hard for me to see here, but it looks like the 12 bib, which would be Peter Ndegwa. And then to the right of the lead pack is number 20, Daniel Lennon. And you mentioned, SU guys, so there's some local connections there. They're coming past the first water station right now. A lot of people cheering. It's getting pretty loud over here. There's some music playing. So it's definitely a good atmosphere here early on. That was kind of the first big pack with music playing and everything. So, and then, there's this lead pack right now. Then there's about 3 runners kind of behind them in a second pack, and then you've got the thick of the race. So right now it's really anybody's race, obviously, still within the first mile, but we got definitely a lot of people in contention so far, guys.
All right, Spencer, thanks so much for that. And you see the lead pack in the corner of your screen there. We'll continue to check in with Spencer and see how we're doing there. In the meantime, you're seeing the thousands of runners come across the start line of the Boilermaker Road Race. And Nate, before we get to the details on who's in the lead right now, let's talk a little bit about you're in the middle of this pack right now, and it's a slow go as you go through here. How many times did you run the Boilermaker, by the way, 11 or 12?
I think I did 12. If memory serves me correctly.
You don't forget that. So your thoughts as you're walking up, because most of this is a walk until you get over the start line, right?
I don't think people realize that can sap a little bit of your energy. So you think kind of, I'm just going to get to the mile start and it's going to start there. But there's a lot of bobbing and weaving that goes on before you even hit the start. And that takes a little energy. And even up through Culver Ave, you're weaving in and out, sometimes having to go onto the grass. And that takes a little energy out of you. So that by the time you get to MV, you're sapped a little.
And so you're seeing the lead pack making their way down Culver Avenue. There's the 1 mile marker they just passed, and they're passing our group where Alicia's standing by down there as they're making their way down. See, that was probably a 7 to 10 people pack, and then a little bit of a lull there, and then the rest of the upper echelon group, some of them local as well, right?
Yeah, and that's among the slowest I've seen them go through the first mile, and that's why that pack is a little bigger than I would have expected. And not to say that they're not going fast. Not a lot of people can do a 5:20 mile to start, but that's much slower than they're capable of going. And again, that's going to leave a lot of people in this race, and that will favor people who have more of the track speed in the end if they're still in that pack. Again, we see what happens when they go into the golf course.
Yep, so we're going to continue to monitor that situation in the lead pack there. I believe that is Gabriel Guillet up in front in the number 1 bib, but it's a little bit far away for us to see, so we're hoping that that Spencer's able to get a good look at that as we go back to him in just a short time. But that's your lead pack. We're going to go to Alicia D'Addario. She is at that 1 mile marker as the runners are starting to come through. Alicia, good morning.
Yeah, hey there, guys. As you mentioned, we saw that lead pack, and now it's just a steady stream of runners. And those lead runners came in at about 4:30. I'm already impressed, but these guys look like they are just on cruise control through this first mile. I haven't seen anybody dressed in some crazy gear, so obviously these are some serious runners here, but it's really cool to see. Love the crowd involvement, and I actually had a viewer come up and tell me what the best part about the Boilermaker and even a road race is that there's no booing, it's all cheering. You can hear it behind me, everyone just lifting each other up. Just, you made it through 1 mile, you got a lot of ways to go, but hey, if you can make it through the first mile, you're almost there. But this is really cool. Again, steady stream of runners. So really, really cool, guys.
All right, thanks very much. We have an update on what took place to delay the start of the 15K wheelchair and the 15K road race. For that, we're going to go to Gary Libertor with the latest information. Gary, what can you tell us?
Well, good morning once again. I did just talk with Utica Police, and they do confirm that they are investigating a homicide that took place not too far off of the Boilermaker course on Poe Street, which is one of the side streets that run off of Culver. So they did want to make sure that this homicide was in no part, in any part related to the Boilermaker. So that is the cause for the delay. As far as the situation as to what happened, we do know that a female has been pronounced dead. There is a male that has been rushed to the hospital with lacerations, possibly from some sort of stabbing, possibly some sort of domestic incident between the two. But again, the incident is definitely not Boilermaker related. That is why the race was begun when it was, and that is the reason for the delay. So as far as any other circumstances, we're still waiting for more information to be released from Utica Police. We are going to be heading over to that scene shortly and hopefully have some more information for you in just a few minutes. But again, we do want to reiterate that it is a homicide investigation, happened not too far off of the Boilermaker course, but again, it is not Boilermaker related. Reporting live, we're going to send it back to you, Steve and Kristen.
Okay, Gary Libertor reporting down near the finish line. Thank you, Gary, for that update. A sad situation there, and our thoughts are with those that are affected by that. In the meantime, we are covering the best 15K in the country today, so news still happens during the middle of a sporting event, and we thank Gary for getting us updated on that. In the meantime, we want to get back to race coverage now, and we're believing that Gabriel Guillet and Edwin Kabici are in the lead pack there. As you can see, they're kind of getting the single file and thinning out a little bit as they make their way down the parkway, Nate.
Top 3, 4, 5, all within distance, but I'm having trouble getting a good look at the first bib there. But as soon as we get a closer look at that, we can tell you exactly. And now we're in a shaded spot too, but there's no sun to deal with.
Yeah. And I think Gabriel Guillet is a smart enough runner that he's not going to let that pack stay too tight for too long, because it just leaves too many other racers in contention. So he, along with Kabichi, will probably try to get separation from some of that pack.
And while they're getting closer by the second to the second mile marker coming up very soon, you look back and this race stretches all the way back still to the start line. And we are some 10 minutes into the start line, and it's still a full pack coming across the start line.
And that's the benefit of the chip timing, where you don't have to worry about when you get to the start line. It starts once you cross the start line.
That's right. Now let's go to Spencer. He is standing by on the media truck. Spencer, what can you tell us?
Hey again, guys. Yeah, right now, actually, I don't have the best vantage point. As you mentioned, they're going in single file a little bit right now, but so are we. So I'm actually in the lead media truck ahead of the second truck. So I am a little bit obscured right now, and we're a little bit far away from the pack. But you guys mentioned it. They are starting to thin out just a bit, and they are starting to get into a more single line pattern. It appears, from at least what I've been able to see so far, is that they have the same. It's the same leaders as they've had throughout the first, now a little over 2 miles. They passed the 2 mile marker not too long ago, and they're on the Parkway East now. We're heading towards the Valley View Golf Course. And now there's really, before it was one big pack, and then it trailed off after that before the thick of the race. Now it's kind of two big packs here. We have two packs of runners, about, I would say, from what I can see, there's probably 12 to 15 people in the front pack, and then it starts to thin out after that. But there is a second group right behind them of about 6 or 7 people, and then it's the bulk of the race is pretty far behind at this point. So they're really starting to separate at this point. I'm getting a little bit closer look now. From what I can see, a lot of single-digit bibs in front right now. That's basically all I can see. I can't make out the numbers too well. But I believe it still looks like the 24 bib Stephen Sambu is in front of the pack, and from then on, it just looks like a bunch of single number bibs. So that's what I can see right now. We're about to turn onto the Valley View Golf Course. At least the truck is in just about, I would say, 15 seconds or so now. So the runners should be coming up to the Valley View Golf Course in about 30 seconds or so.
Okay, thanks very much, Spencer. We'll get back to you in just a bit, and keep a close eye on that group right there. So, again, he was saying a lot of single-digit numbers in there where we thought, and also a number 24, Stephen Sambu, is in that pack, and they're going to start to thin off pretty quick here as they get ready to make that turn onto Valley View, and they're getting close to that turn. And I think, I've only run the race twice, and I'll be honest, but at least I've been out there on the course. And training for this, I think that turn onto Valley View is as hard as the long trek up Burstone Road. What do you think?
Yeah, I think in terms of my own experience, they were equal. The difficulty on Burstone is that it's more exposed to the elements, and that the crowd is a little thinner there. But you're right; those are both the most challenging parts of this course. And then some of the winding or the hills going into the golf course itself. And, of course, when you get out of the golf course, you have the reward of the Parkway, which is very fast. So usually the second fastest mile on the course.
Absolutely. So we should be expecting the wheelchair racers to be coming down, at least the lead group of wheelchair racers to be coming down very soon. Daniel Romanchuk is the favorite here. He's won 3 straight times. And you've got a great pack of other. Joshua Cassidy is great. In fact, 11 of the 12 wheelchair racers that finished here last year, the top 12, are back to race again this year.
That's great. It's great to have Herman Garrick back, too. And he did really well at Peachtree. I think he was 9th.
Yep.
So I think he'll look for a top 5 finish here for him.
And again, as the elite runners are making their way down Valley View and they're getting ready to turn into the golf course shortly, we're going to be expecting to have the wheelchair racers come down at the finish line any moment, and you can look at the sea of people still coming across the start line there, Nate.
You never get tired of looking at that scene. And I think Spencer mentioned Stephen Sambu, who I didn't predict in the top 3, and I still don't think he'll finish in the top 3, but he has had a decent spring. He was third at BAA 10K, but he had some other inconsistent performances. So I don't know if he'll stay in there.
Okay, now if we're looking at the corner of your screen, that is the Elite Runner pack, and there's a man in the lead. And I'm not quite sure exactly what his bib number is. I can't quite see it from this vantage point, but we're looking into that as well. But there's a pack behind him of about 7 or 8 runners, correct?
Yes, that's what it looks like. And I do believe that is Steven Samu, and we'll see whether he can maintain that lead. It sounds like it looks like he's putting in the work right now, and they're going to pace off of him. And as we've seen in years past, that doesn't usually pay off for you.
Okay, we're getting ready. Let's go to Callahan Marshall. She's getting set for a view from the golf course as they make the turn into the golf course momentarily. And that looks like number 12 on your screen, and that would be Peter Ndegwa. And he is from the United States. I'm sorry, from Kenya. From Kenya. 27-year-old from Kenya. Looks to be in the lead right now.
Peter Ndegwa, I don't think he just doesn't have the credentials to probably maintain that lead very long. Again, it's usually the runners that are doing this kind of work early on are the ones that are going to fall back as we hit into the golf course.
All right, let's go, if we can, to Callahan Marshall real quick and check in with her. We need to come back to the finish line as well because the wheelchair racers will be coming through shortly. Callahan.
Hey guys, so the wheelchair racers just passed through. We will be seeing the elite runners come up through Valley View very soon. Now I am actually just past mile 4. So this is what some runners would consider one of maybe the hardest parts of the races because it does go uphill for quite some time up here at Valley View, but it's also one of the prettiest parts of the race. So you kind of get a relaxing feeling as you're running uphill, but then there is a steep downhill. And I'm going to move out of the way so you guys can see. This is one of the last wheelchair racers finishing. We are going to be seeing these elite runners coming in very soon. Now, if you look, beside these volunteers have been working really hard cheering these guys on, but I'll send it back to you.
All right, Callahan, I hate to interrupt you, but we are going to the finish line now. The wheelchair racer coming through. Wow, Daniel Romanchuk, your 2019 Boilermaker champion. Unbelievable time. We're going to get an official time on that, but if that stands true, it was just over 32:30.
Which puts him short of the record on the course, which he set in 2000 just last year.
Absolutely.
Still an excellent performance.
Oh, an excellent performance. And I'll tell you what, not a lot of folks put a lot of stock into it, but I think it could have thrown him off a little bit. You start at 7:45 and you got a 20-minute wait. You're ready to go. Could it throw your game off a little?
I think absolutely. I mean, I think that was on the shorter side of delays. But yeah, I think anything that throws you off of your routine can impact your performance.
So Daniel Romanchuk, a 4-time champion, 4 straight.
And one of the things that may also impact your time is that he does not have a lot of close competition. He's usually winning by quite a bit here, so that impacts your performance too. As you can see in the men's elite race, you need that pack to kind of push you a little further and faster. And in this race, he's been pretty untested.
Outstanding job by Daniel Romanchuk. And if you're looking at your screen right now, you're looking at our camera that's set up on the corner of Albany and Culver. How about that? A Utica club running through. It's humid today. He's going to need some water getting through this race.
I would not try that.
I wouldn't. You are a great runner, and we have another wheelchair division racer coming through the finish line right now, coming in at about 34:09, and the bib number is 15. Oh, it went by so fast I couldn't catch it. I thought that could have been Josh Cassidy. That could have been Josh Cassidy. I didn't see the number fast enough. But in the corner of your screen, of course, is our bike cam. And those elite runners are up in the golf course right now. And there's a pack of about 7 or 8 of them. And you're also looking at our Albany and Culver camera. Your weekend warriors are running through here now, Nate.
And I'd be curious when we hear back from Spencer if any of Americans have hung into that pack, because that would be kind of neat to see a top 5 finish from an American.
I think today, and there you go. There go our runners right past our area where Callahan Marshall and photojournalist Tommy Guys are, and they're taking some water. And I think you may see a little bit more of that today because it is so humid today.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes you'll see elite runners go through the golf course and not take any water, like that runner right there. But when you see them start to take water, you can tell that it's impacting them a little more than it does in other years.
Absolutely. And when we get a moment, we're going to go check in with Spencer and see who is in the lead right now.
In that second pack, I did see Grant Fisher, number 25. He's a Stanford grad, a sub 4-minute miler in college. So we'll see how that track speed translates to road.
Yep, and there's the lead pack there in the corner of your screen at about 20 minutes and 40 seconds into the race. Spencer is on the truck, and he's got an update for us. Spencer, what do you got?
Tree branches here to the golf course right now. We're going through a very narrow portion of the course right now, and we've actually pulled ahead pretty quickly. So we're slowing down right now so that the lead pack can kind of catch up. But what I can tell you is that as of right now, it is a 7-person race in this lead pack. They are starting to thin out and now take that single file line type of formation. So it isn't really so much of a group as it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're slowing down here in a second. We're actually about to pull back onto the parkway, and the runners are coming through the gates out of the Valley View course right now, and trying to get a look at the bib numbers here. Like right now in the lead is the 12 bib, Peter Ndegwa, and right beside him is the number 4 bib, and that would be Tarifa DeBella. And then you also have 24, Stephen Sambu is also keeping up with the pack. He's actually, looks like he's starting to fade just a little bit, guys. He's been at the head of the pack throughout the first 4 miles, but he looks like he's starting to tuck into about the 3rd or 4th position right now. So in the lead right now, we do definitely have Peter Ndegwa, and he actually is about 2 lengths ahead of the next racer now. So he's kind of on his own just a bit here. And then it looks like Gabriel Guillet, last year's champion, is right behind him. So they're stopping, and Guillet just took some water. And they're passing the Utica Zoo right now. So this lead pack now well onto their way onto the parkway. So that's what we've got right now. We've got a thing about 2 or 3 people in a second pack behind this lead group, and then we've got another big group kind of a little bit far behind. They're just passing the Utica Zoo right now. So right now it looks like it is a 5-person race, and we'll see how they come down the stretch here. But right now, Peter Ndegwa has taken the lead, guys.
27 years old from Kenyon. I don't want to say not on our radar, but really not really on our radar, and a kind of a surprise today.
Yeah, and again, it's too early to worry about where he is at this point, because he has a 1:04 half marathon, which is a really respectable time. But as compared to Terefe DeLessa, who was a 2:10 marathoner and finished second at Boulder, and he has experience on this course. Roger Robinson liked him today. He's younger. You look at their past performances and their personal best, and sometimes that 1:04 just doesn't match up to the other runners.
So this is a great situation that we're in right now, and so what we're going to do is, in a moment, we're going to talk. We're going to toss over to Steve McMurray. Actually, we're going to go there right now because our wheelchair champion has just come through, Daniel Romanchuk. Daniel Romanchuk has now won his 4th straight wheelchair division championship here at the Boilermaker, and Steve McMurray is standing by. As a matter of fact, we're going to go to him in just about, 10 seconds. In fact, Steve, go ahead.
All right, Jason, thank you very much. Here we go again. Daniel Romanchuk again winning the Boilermaker Road Race. Let me ask you a quick question. A little bit of a delay there for an incident on the course. How did that affect your mindset? Because when 7:45 comes, you got to start rolling. How did that delay, how did it affect you at all?
I try to be as flexible as I can. Everything is, certain things are just out of our control. So just kind of, just wait it out. Really nothing I could do. So
now talk about the weather conditions today. It's cloudy, which is helpful, but still a little sticky. Did that play a role in your competition today?
The clouds concerned me a little bit, but it's all dry, so everything was great this morning.
All right, so you defended your title again and again and again. You're coming back again to make it, what is it, 6? I can't. We lost track. I mean, we already had your name pre-programmed in because we were on par thinking you were going to win it again. You going to come back?
I hope so, yeah.
All right, Daniel Romanchuk, your 2019 Boilermaker wheelchair champion. Congratulations, great job once again, and we'll hopefully see you again next year to defend your title. Jason, back to you.
All right, Steve, thanks so much. What a great guy. So excited for Daniel. He's a great athlete, an elite athlete, if you will, don't you think?
Yeah, and what great perspective he has when he's talking about the delays and saying that those are issues you can't control. So it's a good attitude, and that's the mindset of elite runners and elite athletes, is that they're not going to worry about the things that they can't control. They can control their training and their hydration and their nutrition, but the weather you can't control and delays you can't control.
So let's reset. If you're just tuning in here to News Channel 2's Boilermaker 2019 coverage, in the corner of your screen, the lead pack is down to about, let's say, 4 or 5 people. And we are expecting they're now on the Parkway, making their way to the 6-mile marker eventually here. I believe they've already passed the 5-mile marker, haven't they?
At their pace, they should be at about the 5-mile marker now. And I think the runner in the T-shirt is Gabriel Gay. I can't get confirmation on that, but that appears to be him, and that makes sense that he would be in that pack. And again, he's a smart enough runner that he's going to let them do the work for the next few miles, and then we'll see what happens when he heads up Champlain Ave.
They just turned onto Genesee Street right there, and then they're going to make their way around Shepherd and down and back onto Burstone as we continue to follow this race. And you know what? And I would be remiss if I didn't go back and say, hey, they're Culver Avenue. They're still going. And they're just hitting the 1-mile marker while they're approaching, the elite runners are approaching the 6-mile marker. Any moment, more wheelchair racers are coming through here. We should be seeing the women's wheelchair champion coming through very soon at the finish line here. But an interesting race as they make their turn off of Genesee Street here.
And you can see their pace quickening a bit. And again, this is kind of what we thought in terms of the size of the pack. It's a much smaller race because of so many scratches. The elite field is just a little thinner. It's always a great field, still a great field, just not as deep.
Not as deep, but just as good. And I believe we have the women's wheelchair champion coming through here shortly. We're keeping a watch here on Court Street. As you look at the corner of your screen, those are the top 4 elite runners in that pack. We're going to go to Spencer shortly here, and he can give us some more details on what we can see here. But they are getting ready to turn onto Burstone Road any moment now.
And no question, Jay, they're going to run what's called the negative splits, which is when you start the race much slower and get progressively faster. The faster splits will come in the second half of the race.
Okay, get ready. This is a brand new women's wheelchair champion. Amanda McGrory has not here this year, so here comes our women's champion, 2019 wheelchair division. Jenna Fessmeyer. Jenna Fessmeyer. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Jenna Fessmeyer, I believe, is the one who came in. We're going to double check that. But she is from Champlain, Illinois. So congratulations to her on winning the women's division. First new women's champion in 8 years.
Yeah, Amanda McGrory really dominated that category for so many years. She's a bit off the course record as well, but a great performance.
I believe, again, if the number was correct on her bib, 1515912, it would be Jenna Fessmeyer, and she is from Illinois. And again, she is the first new champion here in 8 years, because Amanda McGrory won 7 of those years, and in 2013 we didn't have a women's champion because no women raced in the women's division. So exciting news there. Now let's reset and take a look at what you're seeing on your screen. You're seeing runners coming through Valley View in the golf course right now. That's up at the top there where Callahan is, along with our photojournalist Tommy Guys. And the lead pack in the corner of your screen, down to about 4 now.
Yeah, this should be an exciting race in the last mile or so, especially. So look at, again, they're not going to be on record pace at all today, just because that first mile was so much more conservative than it has been in the past when they broke the record.
All right, I believe Callahan Marshall is standing by up in Valley View. Callahan, a sea of people where you are. And there she is.
All right, so the elite runners are just passing through here. Everyone is throwing their cups. They're literally just tossing water on themselves, but they are moving at a fast rate, so I can understand why that's happening. But right now you're seeing a pretty heavy flow compared to what I saw beforehand. So this is where most of the elite runners are coming in. So you're getting a really good view of exactly what is happening up here on Valley View and how many runners are in this race. The volunteers, again, just cheering everyone on, making sure they stay hydrated or make sure they splash water on them. Whatever's going to get them through this race, these volunteers are doing a really good job at helping them with. This is really amazing to watch. You guys are getting a really good view of what's happening. All right, Jason, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Callahan, thanks so much. Jason Paulus, Nate Getman. We are down at the finish line waiting for the big runners to come through. And we're going to go to Spencer now because he can tell us exactly what he sees with those 4 runners making their way up Burstone Road. Spencer.
Yeah, guys, the lead pack just passing Utica College right now, and it is a 4-person race at this point. Many of the same names that we've seen in the lead pack throughout the entire race thus far, and we do have still Steven Sambu keeping pace. He is in the lead, and also Gabriel G.A., last year's champ, having a strong race as well again this year. And then we have, it's hard to tell one of the bits. I can't tell whether it's an 18 or a 16, but it looks like one of those 2 numbers. I don't want to say for sure right now, just from my vantage point. It's hard to see. So we also have the 12 also, they're about to turn right now onto Champlain Ave. A huge crowd here on the corner of Burstone and Champlain. Great atmosphere here. Now, guys, one of the signs that I just saw passing here is hello, random stranger cheering you on from Utica. And that's one of the cool things about this, too, is so many of these people come in from out of town. You have friends and family here, and so many people that you do know that you're cheering on, but then it's also about cheering on the people you don't know, too, and the incredible accomplishment of winning a Boilermaker. So that's just one cool thing that I wanted to pass along. Again, 4-person race right now, and they're all kind of running even planes, so no one really taking command here in the lead pack. Nobody taking complete control of the race. It looks like right now that just maybe half a step ahead is Steven Sambu, Gabriel G.A. right with him, and also Peter Indegwa. And again, I want to say it's either the 18 or the 16 bib, and either one of those it would be. The 18 would be Mick Ayakpano, and the 16 is Mohammed Reda Al-Arabi. So I don't want to say for sure from my vantage point. I can't really tell. But what I can tell you right now, 4-person even race at this point, and these guys look like they have a very comfortable pace. Nobody looks to be laboring too much. They look like they're going to be ready here for the final stretch coming up, as they're just passing the 7-mile marker right now and running past the St. Luke's Hospital campus. So, guys, that's where we're at right now. Hopefully, I'll be seeing you guys in just a little bit down by the finish line.
Okay, thank you, Spencer, very much. So we've got a tight race here, and if they could stay together, wouldn't this be an exciting finish?
Yeah, I'll be surprised if they stay together, but what's surprising is how good all 4 of them look. They're pretty much an even stride. I would say Guillet looks the strongest right now. He looks like he's just kind of jogging, really kind of. Yeah. Again, we saw it last year. It's not that he's toying with the field, but he is just kind of relaxed, waiting to make his move. And if he times this right, he will separate from them in the last half mile or so. But
and could he be making it right there, right now? Because they just got to the top of Champlain Avenue by the hospital, by Utica College, and now it's a big downhill. And it almost seems like the 2 now have just, who's that in the T-shirt? That's what we can't see.
Yeah, I think that is Gabriel Guillet. And anybody watching that, if you're learning how to run, that is how you run. That is a beautiful stride. Those 2 are running in perfect stride right now. Arms are nice and relaxed. The legs are really quick leg turnover.
Look at that.
Really wide stride. That's a great angle.
That's a great stride. And if the gentleman that is in the T-shirt is who we think it is, it's one of two people, according to Spencer, either Mohamed Arabi or Mick Icafano, and he's from the U.S. If those are, he couldn't tell which it was a 16 or an 18 in the bib. And if it's that person, wow, that could be an interesting finish.
Icafano would be a real surprise because he's only run a 106. And when I say only a 106, it's a very fast half marathon. But El Arabi wouldn't be as huge a surprise. He finished 16th at Boston, the Boston Marathon, ran a 2:13 marathon. But none of them have the credentials of Gabriel Guillet.
No, they don't. But he's staying with them. I mean, he's kept the same distance all the way down Champlain so far, as we continue to go down Champlain Avenue before we make the turn onto Whitesboro Street. But neither of them look labored at this point, Nate.
No, that gives you an indication that they played this race the right way, went out smart.
Whoa! He's making a move here. But is it too early? That's the next question.
Yeah, he may be trying to make one decisive move and kind of separate for the rest of the race, rather than holding off into the last quarter mile or half mile or so.
All right, I want to go back to Spencer because now it's a two-person race. And Spencer, who is in the white T-shirt?
Oh, man, guys, it is so hard for me to tell right now. I am, like, squinting my eyes as much as I can to try to tell if that is 8 or 6. I don't want to say for sure. We're just far enough away where I can't make out whether that is a closed 8 or an open 6 on the top. But right now it is a two-person race, and Gabriel Guillet seems to be very much in play right now.
Okay, thanks very much. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to stay close on this elite runners race. It's a two-person race. Very, very close. We're trying to figure out who that is in the white T-shirt because it's tough to see. When you're on the media truck, it's very difficult to see. And right now, our bike is at a side view. So as you can see, these two runners are going neck and neck right now, getting ready. They're making their way down Champlain Avenue, and they're about to make the turn onto Whitesboro Street. And if we have spotters on that corner at this point, we will get an information from you as soon as possible. In the meantime, that's a look right now from way up top the golf course, seeing a sea of runners as they make their way down, or up, I should say, Valley View Road, getting ready to turn into the golf course. But Nate, a very interesting race brewing right here at the end.
If that's El Arabi, he has a 27:58 10K PR, which is pretty quick.
Right.
And he would be the first Moroccan to win since 2011 when Ridwan Haroufi won.
Yeah, Ridwan Haroufi won 2 back then. So that does look like Arabi, but I don't want to quote. And now he has just taken the lead outright. But again, it's going to go back and forth. I think these are two of the best runners in this field, and they're going neck and neck right now as they make their way down to the turn onto Whitesboro Street. And we have the women's division champion right now, and a very exciting time because it's the first time we've had a new women's winner in 8 years. Steve McMurray is with Jenna Fessmeyer. Steve.
Jason, thank you very much. The 2019 Boilermaker Women's Wheelchair winner, Jenna Fessmeyer, straight from Champaign, Illinois. And so your first time here, and you won it. Not bad.
Yeah, you know what? It was a great day. Nobody told me there were hills on the course. What's up with that? So, yeah, it was a hilly course, a nice headwind, but we had some great competitors out there pushing me along the way. So, good day.
Now, you're the first brand new winner in almost a decade. So now the question is, are you going to come back and defend your title? Because now we might have a head-to-head race next year. What do you think? I know it's early, but what do you think?
I would love to come back next year. Yep, and maybe I'll bring a couple of my teammates with me.
Let's talk a little. This is your first time. We take everything, for granted because we do this race all the time. But for your first impressions, other than the hills, which were, crazy, talk about the fans, everything else.
Yeah, you know what? The last 2 miles, the fans were just electric. I could tell I was approaching the finish line because the crowd was just so wild, and that really gives you a good sense of home, a good sense of Utica. So it's very happy.
All right, outstanding. Jenna Fessmeyer, your 2019 Women's Wheelchair Champion. Congratulations, and we hope to see you again next year to defend your title. All right, she already said see you next year, so it's done. Book it. Jason.
You said it. We're going to do it. She's in. All right, thanks very much, and congratulations, Jenna. We are watching now. we've just changed leaders once again. It was Muhammad Arabi, and now we've switched back to, your guess is as good as mine. I can't see from this angle. Can we get to Spencer?